Welcome to session 6 of Unit 2. Unit 2 is talking about tools of economic analysis. And in session 6, we are looking at economic data. Now, economists seek to explain observations made on the real world or use real world observations to test their theories. For example, we can explain why the price of maize rose last year even though the maize crop increased. Only if we have numbers for the maize crop and price of maize. That is, we need reliable data or facts to actually analyze the problem. And in this session, you will be introduced to the sources and types of economic data. Sources and types of economic data. By the end of the session, we believe that you should be able to appreciate the sources of economic data. You should be able to appreciate the sources of economic data. You should also be able to distinguish between various types of economic data. So we are going to talk about the sources of economic data. We're also going to talk about data types or types of economic data. Now, what are the sources of economic data? In many economic textbooks, you will find data sources at the bottom of each table. At the bottom of each table or diagram. In research, whenever you make a table or you make a diagram, you are required to add the source of the table or diagram. And in this, you may be able to find some data sources. Now, in detailed research projects, we may collect new data by talking directly to firms or households. Such data may be referred to as primary data. This is trying to talk about primary and secondary data. We have primary and we also have secondary data. Now, the primary data is the first-hand data. That is, you go to the firm, you go by a questionnaire. So you go and they fill the questionnaire for you, and then you come home and then you input it, say in an Excel. Now, when you input your data in an Excel and say you upload your data for another person to use, that person using your data, that person is now accessing the secondary data. Why? Because you went to the field to collect the data at first hand. The person didn't go there. The person is using the second hand data. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. When we are talking about secondary data, you can get sources. Maybe you go online and you get data that has already been collected from other sources or by other people that have been uploaded there. Now, let's take for instance economic analysis that use numbers routinely collected or published by private bodies, national government, and international agencies. That's what we call the secondary sources of data. In Ghana, for instance, much of economic data are collected on behalf of the government by the Ghana Statistical Service. When you go to the Ghana Statistical Service and download data there, that data you download is secondary. Now, we can also get some from Ghana Stock Exchange and Central Bank, let's say Bank of Ghana. We can also even get some of this secondary data from the IMF. For international comparisons, publications by international agencies such as the International Monetary Fund with comparable data from many different countries are actually convenient economic data sources. Now we can talk about the types of economic data. Now the secondary and the primary are not the major types we are going to talk about. We talked about the primary data and we also talk about the secondary. So I said the primary data is first hand, normally by questionnaire. So you go to the household, you go to firms to collect the data. These ones are normally on online sources. We get it by online sources. So when I go and collect data from say Bank of Ghana and I upload it to a website whereby someone else can access it, me going to collect first hand is primary. When I upload it, the person now going to download from the website I uploaded. The person is now going to deal with the data as a secondary data. Let's talk about type of what are the types of economic data. Uh, Data gathered for a particular purpose may be of several types. The first major distinction between is cross-sectional data, and we have the time series data. We will explain the meaning of cross-sectional data and then time series in the next slide. What do we mean by cross-sectional data? Refers to a number of different observations on one variable. Focus is on one variable. Let's say economic growth, all taken in different places. So we are looking at, let's say, economic growth of Ghana, Nigeria, like I don't know if you get it. So taken in different places or across different people at the same point in time. Keyword is one variable, different places, different people at the same point in time. So I can say I want to collect the GDP of Ghana, Nigeria, and South Africa. So the common variable is GDP, but the different places of people are Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa. I will say, okay, I'm collecting it from 2006 to 2007. Such data show the way of economic variable differs across different individuals. Now, how about the time series data? This we are talking about observation taken on one variable, also one variable at successive points in time. The data show the way a particular variable changes over time. To understand more of the process, we can say that because cross-sectional data aggregates national data by some characteristics like age, region, or industry, they tend to be used to investigate detailed questions in microeconomics. And to add more to the second part or second type of data, that is the time series data, we are talking about macroeconomics, which emphasizes the behavior of the economy as a whole, where frequency deals with time series of aggregate variables such as national level of unemployment and other things. So when we are talking about the difference between time series and cross-sectional, this is what we are actually talking about. In the next unit, which is unit 3, we are going to talk about the theory of demand and supply, and it's going to be an interesting discussion in that unit. See you in unit 3.